Buddy, it's Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane. This week, right here, is Teacher Appreciation Week. Okay, it's a week that we try to like think about how awesome our teachers are, right? And so, if you're watching this during Teacher Appreciation Week and you're a teacher, thank you for all that you do. If you're not a teacher and you're watching this, or you're watching this like in November, just know that it was Teacher Appreciation Week. But the story that I'm going to read you is great about teachers. It's one of my favorite teacher books. Okay, it's also a book that's called a memoir. A memoir is what writers call a piece of writing that's like a little slice of your life. It talks about something that means a lot to you. This book is also what's called historical. It happens in the past, right? And so the setting is really important because there's lots of things about this book that make it special because of where and when it happened. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. This is called My Great Aunt Arizona, and it's written by an author named Gloria Houston, and it's a true story. It's illustrated by someone named Susan Condilan, right? And it's got beautiful pictures that help to tell the story. Here we go. My Great Aunt Arizona. Take a look at that beautiful setting. This book is dedicated by the author for all teachers, members of the most influential profession in the world, and by the illustrator for Bernice Cooper Berry. Here we go. My My great aunt Arizona was born in a log cabin that her papa built in the meadow on Henson Creek in the Blue Ridge Mountains. When she was born, a mailman rode across the bridge on his big bay horse with a letter. The letter was from her brother, Galen, who was in the cavalry. The cavalry is sort of like an army of soldiers that ride horses. Okay, so he was in the cavalry, far away in the west. The letter said, "If the baby is a girl, please name her Arizona, and she will be beautiful like this land." Arizona was a very tall girl. She wore her long brown hair in braids. She wore long full dresses and pretty white apron. She wore high button shoes and many petticoats too. Arizona liked to grow flowers. She liked to read and sing and square dance to the music of the fiddler on Saturday night. Arizona had a little brother, Jim. They played together on the farm. In the summer, they went barefoot and caught tadpoles in the creek. In the fall, they climbed the mountains searching for galax and ginseng roots. In the winter, they made snow cream with sugar, snow, and sweet cream from Mama's cows. And when spring came, they helped Papa tap the maple trees and catch the sap in buckets. Then they made their maple syrup and maple sugar to eat like candy. Arizona and her brother Jim walked up the road that wound the creek to the one room school. Take a look at this. That's what their school looked like. Everyone in the whole school is in there. All the students in all the grades were there together in one room. All the students read their lessons aloud at the same time. They made a great deal of noise, so the room was also called a blab school. So different, right? Students carried their lunch in lard buckets made of tin. They brought ham and biscuits, and sometimes they had fried apple pie. They drank cool water from the spring at the bottom of the hill. At recess, they played games like tag and William Matromato. Arizona had read all the books in the one room school, she crossed the mountains to the school in another village, a village called Wing. Oops, there we go. It was so far away that she rode on her papa's mule, and sometimes she rode the mule through the snow. When Arizona's mother died, Arizona had to leave school and stay home to care for Papa and her brother Jim. She still loved to read and dream about the faraway places she would visit one day. So she read and she dreamed, but she took care of Papa and Jim. And one day, Papa brought home a new wife. Arizona could go away to school where she could learn to be a teacher. Aunt Susie invited Arizona to live at her house and help with the chores. Aunt Susie made her work very hard, but at night, Arizona could study and dream of all the faraway places she would visit one day. Finally, Arizona returned to her home in Henson Creek. She was a teacher at last. She taught in the one room school where she and Jim had sat. She made new chalkboards out of lumber from Papa's sawmill and covered them with black polish made for stoves. She still wore long full dresses and a pretty white apron. She wore high button shoes and many petticoats too. She grew flowers in every window. She taught students about words and numbers and the faraway places they would visit someday. Have you been there? The students asked. Only in my mind, she answered. But someday you will go. Arizona married the carpenter who helped build the new Riverside School down where Henson Creek joins the river. So Miss Arizona became Mrs. Hughes, and for the rest of her days she taught fourth grade students who called her Ms. Shoes. And when her daughter was born, Ms. Shoes brought the baby to school, to the sunny room where flowers grew in every window. Every year, Arizona had a Christmas tree growing in a pot. The girls and boys made paper decorations to brighten up the tree. Then they planted their tree at the edge of the schoolyard year after year until the entire playground was lined with living Christmas trees like soldiers guarding the room where Miss Arizona taught. With her long gray braids wound round her head, with her long full dress and pretty white apron, with her high buttoned shoes and many petticoats too. The boys and girls who were students in her class had boys and girls who were students in her class, and they had boys and girls who were students in her class. And for 57 years, my great aunt Arizona hugged her students. She hugged them when their work was good, and she hugged them when it was not. She taught them words and numbers and about the faraway places they would visit someday. Have you been there? The students asked. Only in my mind, she answered. But someday you will go. My great aunt Arizona taught my dad, Jim's only son, and she taught my brother and me in the fourth grade with her soft white braids wound round her head. She taught us about the faraway places we would visit someday. My great aunt Arizona died on her 93rd birthday. But she goes with me in my mind, a very tall lady in a long full dress and a pretty white apron with her high buttoned shoes and her many petticoats too. She's always there, in a sunny room with many flowers in every window and a hug for me every day. Did she ever go to the faraway places she taught us about? No, but my great aunt Arizona travels with me and with those of us whose lives she's touched. She goes with us in our minds. And that's the end. Here's a real photo of great aunt Arizona. It's a true story. Isn't that a beautiful story about teachers? So, if you're a teacher, I hope that you have a happy Teacher Appreciation Week. And thank you for all that you do to help shape the world and help kids have the dreams that you had once too. Someday they'll go. If you're not a teacher, but you're a student, maybe you have a teacher like Great Aunt Arizona who makes you dream and teaches you to follow your dream. And maybe one day you can be a teacher too that does that for other kids. I'll see you next time.